Hey everybody, Aaron here from the Cool Guys Nation, and welcome to another Hobby Top video. Today we are going to be continuing to take a look at the printable scenery 3D project. We are going to be reprinting one of the pieces that was messed up from the last video. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check out episode 3 where we take a look at the overall project. And we're also going to take a look at another project that I'm going to start right away because it's just too cool and I have to 3D print it, and it turns out that I have most of the supplies that I need. So that's really exciting. So first off, here we are at Printable Scenery. Printable Scenery is a company that specializes in miniature game scenery. Now, they don't make this scenery, they make the 3D files that you can 3D print, and they do a really good job of formulating the files so they're very easy to print on a bunch of different printers. Now, if you don't know what 3D printing is 3D printing is essentially a very accurate robot holding a hot glue gun, and it is going around in circles using a 3D file to build up small layers of plastic and create your print. Now, the printers that you can see here are different than the printers that I have. These are all standard 3D printers that use a cable. So it has a spool of plastic, and that spool of plastic allows it to come down and it melts it like hot glue. My 3D printer uses lasers through resin and it prints upside down. Now, the benefit is that it gets very, very accurate prints. The downside is that the prints themselves cost a little bit more money. And again, depending on the type of plastic that you're using, the type of printer you're using, the cost of 3D printing varies, but it can be very cheap to very expensive. These are the type of cables that you're going to get. This is a pretty typical machine that you can see. So the project that we are working on from Printable Scenery is the observation tower. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that product up right now. Of the Winterdale package, this is called the Observatory. It's part of Winterdale 2. This is part of a Kickstarter that I got, and we are going ahead and building it. So this is what it's going to look like when it's completely done, and these are all the different pieces that we are printing. Now, I have printed all of these pieces and I go over them in my last video. However, this piece right here I made a mistake on and I have to reprint it. So that is what we are doing today. Now, I'm also going to show you another project that I'm starting that I'm very excited about, and we're going to use both projects to go through the process of how to 3D print. So that's Printable Scenery. If you have a 3D printer, or if you're interested in learning more about 3D printers, go ahead and go to printablescenery.com. Send them an email, ask them questions. They are very good at what they do. So 3D files come in something called an STL file. And that is this file right here. Now, an STL file is a special type of 3D file that is readable by the programs that are going to convert that for your 3D printer and turn it into an object that you can actually print. They're not like normal 3D files. And some of the ways that you can get these projects is by going to places like Pinshape. Now, this is something that I am going to be printing. This was specially designed for my printer, which is a FormLabs 2. And all of these different pieces are specially made so that they can print on my printer that you can see it here, and it uses all sorts of different types of resins, and it has LEDs put in. I mean, this is amazing. It's a pretty incredible lightsaber, and so I'm very excited to start on this project. And what's really nice is because he designed it specifically for my printer, it's actually only like 5 prints that is going to make all these different pieces. Now, I will have to cut them out and clean them up, and we'll go ahead and show all that. We're going to show a bit of it in this video right now working on the Winterdale, but this is an upcoming project. So if you're interested in watching me make this lightsaber, and if you're interested in making it yourself, then you can go to Pinshape Custom Cutaway Saber Hilt. It is free to download. It just gives you all of the 3D files, and if you have a 3D printer, then you'll be able to print them out. Now, as far as software goes, that really depends on what sort of printer you get. So I have a FormLabs 2, and it comes with this software called Preform that is completely designed for my printer. Now, I also have a TASBot 5, and it uses an open source program called Slicer. Now, its version of Slicer is customized for that particular printer. So whenever you go out to buy a printer, you're going to have to do some research and make sure that it also comes with the appropriate program in order to translate your 3D file into something that your printer can read. Now, I'm not going to be using Slicer for this program. I am going to be using my Preform. and it's very simple. I did not make this 3D file, I just downloaded it from Printable Scenery. I'm going to take this file and I'm going to drop it into Preform. Preform lays the object out. We can take a look at it. We can see the boundary boxes of my printer. And if it were to be off center, then it would show me a problem. So I just created 2 duplicates. They're gray instead of blue. Obviously it's not happy. Now, one of the things that's different about my printer than other printers is that because my printer uses a laser beam and resin, it actually has a print bed that lowers down and then slowly lifts up, and it prints it in the opposite direction of most printers. So usually there's an internal structure that you have to worry about. My printer has an external structure. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to let the program automatically decide what the best structure is. Now, once you get more sophisticated with your 3D printing, you will learn how to optimize your print and make your own structure so that you can save plastic or you can make modifications to it. But for what I'm doing, it is simply easier for me to let the computer generate the supports that are necessary for my printer. And in most cases, a lot of the programs are very sophisticated, especially if you go with a better known 3D printer like a MakerBot or a Taz or a FormLabs. Any of the larger companies are going to give you software that works really well. Now, part of the fun of being a maker and doing things with 3D is that it does open up a whole world where you can make your own models and you can decide your own things, and it's very cool. All right, so it has finished my my thing. It asked me if I want to send it to the printer now, but I'm not going to. We're going to take a look at it. So this is the structure. So all of this stuff is going to get printed, and I'm going to have to cut all of that off afterwards and then clean up my model so that it doesn't have any of those lines on it. Now, every 3D printer has its own issues. A lot of times you can see the layers, and that is problematic. My particular printer is very, very accurate, and so it works a lot better for miniatures and miniature terrain, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it with any other printer. All right, so now normally it's going to give me a print time once I put it in. It's telling me how much space it takes up. It's telling me how many individual layers are going to be made. Normally I would click this button and it would send it to the printer, but I have actually already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my normal camera, and we're going to take a look at the print inside the printer. All right, so here is our print on the screen, and now we're going to take a look at the completed print. This print took approximately 9 hours to finish. Here is the printer for a reference of scale. Here's a bottle of Elmer's glue. So it's not too big. It is a desktop printer. I have it next to my computer. Because it's enclosed, it keeps all of the fumes and everything away. It's very nice, it's very easy. It's telling me that my print is ready to remove. Now, as you can see, it has all the support structure on it. So the way this works is that the bed, which is that black part, goes all the way down and then it slowly moves up. I'm gonna insert a time lapse of another print that I did so you get an idea of that, or you can go back and watch my video, Introduction to the FormLabs 2. So the next part of the process is that we need to open this case, which we do simply by lifting this, and it goes up like that. And then we are going to unlatch this. We're going to go ahead and put our rubber gloves on. That slides out, and we're going to go ahead and take the print off of that. Once we do that, we then need to immerse it in isopropyl alcohol to get all of the uncured resin off. That will take a little bit of time. And then after that, we're going to put it into our sterilizer, which is going to bombard it with UV, and it's going to help the resin to cure. Now, you don't have to do this process, but it is recommended. You do have to clean it, but you don't always have to put it in the sterilizer. However, I found that that is a much better idea. So I'm going to go ahead and put my rubber gloves on, and we're going to go ahead and take this out of the printer. All right, so I have my rubber gloves on. I'm going to remove the print. As you can see, it is stuck to the build platform. You flip it upside down, you can see there's still a little bit of goop on it. It is very goopy. So the next thing that we're going to do is place it on this mount, and that's going to help us get some leverage so that we can remove the print from the print bed. It does take 2 hands to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so we have the print in the mount. and we are going to be using this tool to pry it off, and then we are going to be putting it into our isopropyl alcohol. Alright, so we have our print on our rack, and we have our remover tool. What we have to do is get underneath the plastic, and we just have to kind of pry it up, and eventually it will come off completely, and then we're going to go ahead and slide it into here. Now, this process can take a few minutes to do depending on your print. This print has a very wide surface area, so it's going to be adhered pretty tight. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera, and I'm going to put it into the isopropyl alcohol, and it's going to go into each of these tanks for between 10 and 15 minutes for a total of approximately 30 minutes, and then we're going to move the print to the UV cure station. Alright, so I have successfully removed the print from the base. It took a couple minutes of getting it under. This is what the print looks like. That shininess is goop. It's some of the resin that's still left. And so we're going to go ahead and put it into our bath of isopropyl alcohol. It does need to be 100% submerged, and fortunately I have enough. Now, this is 98% isopropyl alcohol, so it needs to stay closed and it needs to stay away from fire. We're going to put a timer on. We're going to leave it in here for 10 minutes. Then we're going to move it to the second tank for another 10 minutes, and then we're going to put it into our UV cure for a couple hours. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and take a look at the next step, which is removing the structure, and then doing final preparations for the print so that we can prime it and paint it and fully assemble the entire observatory. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so while the other print is in the isopropyl alcohol, and then we're going to be moving it in about 20 minutes to the UV cure, I am going to start working on the custom cutaway saber hilt. And once again, this print is master quality. I cannot express that enough. It is master quality. He has done all of the designs. He's made it specifically for the printer that I'm using, and he's even done special files just for my program to print it out, which, even though it's very complicated, it's still going to be a lot of work. That is super nice. So I'm very excited to do this project. Now, something that you'll see is he's using magnets, and so that way he has both the inside and the outside, so it looks like this when it's closed, and then when you unassemble it, it looks like this. So it is incredible. Obviously, as a miniature wargamer, I have magnets. I happen to have all the different colors of resin that I need for the printer, so I don't see any reason why I don't start this project right now. So first step is I downloaded the FormLabs documents, and he has it done by black parts, clear parts, the emitter housing, flexible parts. So there's actually resins that you can print with that are flexible. He's using that for the handle, gray parts, manifold pipes, which are also gray, and the pommel ridges. And then he's also included some nice instructions. I currently have the gray resin loaded, as you just saw. So what I need to do is I need to take this file and drag it into preform, and there you go. Look at all the different pieces that he has nicely laid out. He's even already made the appropriate, what are these called? The structure, so they hold up. So I am very excited. All I need to do is send this to my printer. So my printer is called Fabulous Seal. It is attached by Wi-Fi. I'm going to do job name. We're going to do gray parts. Try 1, and hopefully we will only need that. And I'm going to go ahead and send it to the printer. Now, this can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and then we'll take a look at what the process is on the FormLabs to load the file into the printer. Once again, a lot of this stuff it's ready to go. It's turnkey, as they may say in the industry. You don't have to do a lot of work. Now, if you want to design your own thing, you can do that. Obviously, you can get a 3D program, you can make your own 3D files, you can convert them into an STL file and print them out, or you can search the hundreds of thousands of different designs that are on Pinshape or Thingiverse or any of the other public source items. Let's just go to Thingiverse really quick. So, Thingiverse. X-Wing template stand and token holder. So if you are an X-Wing fan and you want a cool little token holder, you can just go ahead and download this for free and print it out, and it holds all your stuff. Now, there is pretty much anything that you can think of on here. So we'll just go to the home page for a second. I mean, it's just people are making all of these files, and yeah, some people choose to sell them, and some people just put them up for free. The vast majority of them are for free. Almost anything that you can think of is for free. This is kind of cool. This looks like you know, like power cables and whatnot. You have iPhone stands and spoons and weird little skull things, and it's just pretty much anything you can think of. And yes, there is also miniature stuff in here. Let's go to terrain, and here you can see there are already made 3D files for terrain. We got some concrete walls, we got some crystals, we got houses and boats. So there is tons of stuff already made out there that's for free, as well as the very, very well designed and crafted stuff from Printable Scenery. Obviously this, compared to this, a little bit of a quality difference there. This isn't free though, but it is really, really worth it. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check the printer, see if it's been sent. It hasn't. So this print is going to take us 5 hours and 57 minutes. It's going to take up 877 individual layers, and it's going to cost us 76.04 milliliters of our 1 liter of gray resin. And when we get this done, we will be 1/7, or what, 11% done with the printing for this project. All right, so I'll see you in a minute when this is fully transferred to the 3D printer. All right, so our print has successfully loaded into the FormLabs via Wi-Fi. As you can see, it says ready to print, and it has a nice little image of the printer. And all I have to do is hit print now. It will tell me to open the cartridge and vent and check the build platform, which I've already done. And then I have to push this circle button to confirm. And now the printer is moving into its first action. It will continue to load the resin into the tank as needed automatically, and it will lower the build platform all the way down, and then using a laser it will harden it 1 layer at a time onto the bottom of the build platform. Now the printer does have to heat up, so it needs to get to, I think, 30 degrees centigrade. It says it right on. We are at 25.9, so just above room temperature, and it is going to fill and heat at the same time and then start the print, which in this particular case will take approximately 5 hours. So once this print is complete, we will go ahead and move on to the next step, just as we did last time, but we're going to go ahead and continue to work on the observatory from Printable Scenery while our second project, the LightSaber, is working. All right, so our print has been in here for about 30 minutes. And I do apologize for that hum. The AC just kicked on. So we are going to remove the print. And remember that we have to do it without touching it. So I need to get my tweezers. And we're just going to go ahead and lift the print out. And we're going to let it drip a little bit. And then we're going to put it onto our transfer tray. And we're going to bring this to the sterilizer, which is right here. And the sterilizer is on and prepped, but it won't turn the UV light on until I put the print inside, which I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to flip it so that the main part of the print is facing up. I'm going to close this, and we can see that the UV light has now turned on. And we're going to leave this in here for quite a while. The reason is that a sterilizer's UV is not entirely the perfect wavelength. There are better ones, such as a nail cure. This is the one that I have, so it does take about twice as long. So I'm pretty much going to leave this in here for a couple hours, and when that's done and dry and nice and hard, we'll take it out and we'll clean off all of that, all of those support structures, which is very, very easy. And we will wind up with a print like this. As you can see, you can barely see those things on this, so they're very easy to clean, literally like 5 minutes. Then we will have all the pieces for the observatory for Winterdale, and we can go ahead and start assembling them, gluing them together, priming them, and painting them. So I am very excited. So I will see you guys in what is a couple seconds, but for me is a couple hours. Alright, so it has been a couple hours, and we are going to check the print And it's very easy to check the print. If it doesn't feel sticky, then it's pretty much good to go. And at this point, it does not feel sticky. So the next thing we have to do is get the this base structure off. And you can get some more light over here. I'm literally just going to sort of pull this. If you need to use a scissor or an X-Acto knife, you certainly can. All of this stuff is wasted material, which is too bad. But for the most part, it just pulls right off. And then all I have to do is go back through with scissors or some other thing and just kind of like clip these little pieces off, and you're pretty much done. So this piece is now done. I do have a bit of cleanup work on all of the other pieces to do. I have to go back through and sort of get this out, which I can do with my razor blade right here. It'll probably take me about a half an hour to go through and clean everything up and take a file and make sure that all the pieces are really nice. So on the next video, we are going to be assembling all of the individual pieces. So we need to take these and glue them together, and we need to take this and glue them together. So we'll have this all laid out, and we're going to put everything together, and then we're going to prime and paint it. And by that time, the lightsaber should be, I should have most of the pieces printed for the lightsaber. There you can see the laser going. It's pretty cool. Alright, so until next time, this has been Aaron from the Cool Guys Nation. Bye!